Well, these were names that only fishermen working the ground would know. If you said anybody else in on the land, you know, where's Middle Rock or where's Beach Old Head or Spot, another one up there, they wouldn't know what you was talking about. This was men that were out there every day, guiding their way around your by landmarks. Like I said to you, you could be wasting a lot of time steaming around if you weren't precise with your landmarks. You know, it's a bigger place than you think out there. If you look at, especially if you're a mile and a half off looking for something like that. You could be going around for hours and hours and you wouldn't find your crab pot unless you knew looking in over the land by your mark, wouldn't you?
The old
spend your
blokes
time steaming around the bloody ocean.
They had it weighed off all the time. Yeah.
It was, I suppose in a way, it was like a GPS, but it was landmarks. Fixes, you know. Well, I suppose like when Winke went to sea with his father first, and I went to sea with my father, there wasn't no GPS or nothing. We had small boats, and we had landmarks. Like, you don't learn them overnight. You got to go to sea with your old man. You might pick them up after 12 months, all of them. Anyway, you know, looking at them day after day. You know,
different areas, different times of year, you'd like move your grounds a little bit.
Most of these marks were on the ridge line of the land. You know, like gaps in houses and trees, right on the, you know, like you say, on the ridge. And you could perhaps line them up with something below them, like a tree on the ridge of the headland, with a house, you know, down on the water's edge, more things like that. Big gap, little gap, Star, Middle Rock, King's Head, Beach Old Head, Two Chapels, Pridgeon's House. You know, they're all marks on the land, but you had to get a fix for how far out or in you were.
You had to have two transits,
two fixes,
like
you said, coordinates on it. And we used to use a lot. You know what where the moose stone is, with that higher bit of land, we used to call that Eastland. And Bolt Tail, we used to call Westland. Now if you was steaming out, say down, well, you want to go out about it, when you kept going out, Westland, which is Bolt Tail, would come out clear of Pearl Point, and you would get it in the signal station or the Coast Guard cottages, and that's how you like I say, that's what your outmark was, your out fix, like. And the same with that Eastland, which is only, you know, where the moose stone was a fisherman's saying for Eastland. As you steamed out, Eastland came out on the point. You see, you know, this Eastland would be in line with Start Point, and then as you went out further, you know, it came out in blacks.
Different marks
and
beyond that.
Like say, Peak Over Lighthouse, you'd have Tipperary. Berry Head would come out clear of that headland, and that would be your outer fixes.
If you got Tipperary, that's where the trawlers could come down around then. You had to keep your pots inside of Berry Head, or else the trawlers would come and take them.
Peak Over Lighthouse, that's a good mark, isn't it? There's a little nub on the land, you know, and you just get it in line with the lighthouse. And then you'd want your out mark, like you say, you'd go out Tipperary when you Peak Over Lighthouse. I mean, you could go out as far as you like on the same mark, Peak Over Lighthouse, but where you want to drop your gear, you've got to have that other coordinate. You know, whether you're like half a mile out or 3/4 of a mile or a mile out.
Same with the old
line that Eastland, wouldn't he? Up, you know.
But you know, lighthouse between the two poles, two radio masts up there, they was good marks.
Yeah.
You know, you get the two masts lined up, and or you get them over lighthouse or lighthouse in between them.
Yeah.
You know, that there's good marks, so you could always rely on them.
When I started first, same as you, I mean, the two radio masts had 3 lights on each one. And in the dark, that was handy because you could see the 3 lights come together and you could line them up.
Yeah.
What it's called mast in one.
Yeah.
But they had the lights, but of course they took the lights off them years ago, didn't they? You know, I fished, you know, the lower side of the point, so learnt the marks down there with my father, like, but there's loads of marks up here, isn't there?
All up through here, Gap or Vinster, and then to be up Demet's Pit and East Pit, Lodi's Pit.
Double edges.
Forward Corner Tree. Forward Corner Tree up there, and get that over a certain house, like in the Forward Corner Tree is back here, the other side of Slapton Lee, and then you get him over a certain house here, out there, like, line them up, and they'd know exactly where the pits was. And they could tell you where the pits were exactly. Once they found like the first one or second one, they only had single pots then. They get the first one, like, this is number 2. All right, they'd hold that one, then they'd pick up that next one, number 1. And once they got them lined up, then they'd know where the next ones more or less was. You know, they had them like in a line up through in the pits.
I think all of my lower pot with my father was bushes and chaff. And you know, there's a crack in the rock out at the start. It might be on there. You go out so far and a little crack appears in the rock. And that was our lower pot. You know, the bushes used to come down by Sleeden Valley up at Ansel's farm, and you'd look up at the point where the chap was, a crack in the rock. I'd give you an outmark. And we used to come up through, I don't know, bushes, pout pit, end edge, little gap, big gap, King's Head, Middle Rock, Star, Beach All Head, Traveller's Rest. Yeah. And these are hundreds of years old, these marks. Because somebody...
Then some silly bugger would cut down your 4-corner tree, and then they, oh well.
And what was I was going to
and
say?
What they buggered it up there, wasn't it? A 4-corner tree was a big tree with 4 corners of fields come in, see? Well, then they bulldoze the edge down. So they only left 3 corners, so they called it a 3-corner tree. Well, youngsters these days, all bloody...
GPS.
They're nearly there.
Men would have known. You know, Lannicum fishermen. Well, I suppose all fishermen.
They all had their own areas, didn't they?
The coast would have had to use landmarks, like.
They all had their known landmarks for their own little area, like, you know.
Like,
if you went down to their area, like, and they'd say, oh, so and so, what the hell's that?
Yeah.
You know, you knew your area, they knew theirs, and that's how you went.
That's right, yeah. We'd be lost, like, we just knew our own pitch, like, you know, because there were small boats, you didn't venture miles away. No. I suppose Beesands men went as far as Lannicum at the most in a boat hauling or something.
Yeah.
So if we don't have any technology, if anything happens to our technology, we'll need to know these marks, won't we?
We won't tell you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to get the fishermen first. They're a dying breed.